Hello. Hello, we are streaming. We are live. We're live at 5. It's not 5. It's not 5 o'clock at all. Okay. So, what I'd like to do is decide what I'm doing here. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was in the process of figuring out what I would do with these two types of layers. And I decided I would really decide to keep them separate, even though it's going to be a massive pain in the butt to deal with them still. Okay, so what problem was it that prompted me to think about this seriously? I think it was something like this. Yeah, yeah, it was that. Yeah, so I was looking at my project. Okay, and we've done a lot since the last time I streamed. All these things still work, right? And there's little previews for the layers, which is very cute. Um, and it's very nice looking. I like it a lot. This red and black combo in particular looks very nice with the rounded corners. Yeah, it's very nice. But the technical problem is we could have one or more layers selected, and in that case, we can change only one of them, like so. And I need to decide what to do with this part of the UI. I know how I want it to look, but getting it to work like that underneath is, well, easier said than done. For example, oh man, I wish I could make this bevel size even bigger, right? Like for this in particular, it'd be nice to bring this bevel down quite a bit. Uh, hmm, may need to change that. But anyways, that's another topic. That's much easier to fix. So the UI, let's just assume that we have the right options here on the UI. It's sending a message to the selected layers. It's sending a message to the selected layers. But what's weird about that is you could have selected line and fill, for example, and line width only applies to line. So if I wanted to treat line and fill type layers exactly the same, then how it would work is it would get this message from the UI, which may or may not contain a line width, and it would have to know what to do with line width, even if it's a fill layer. And at that point, I started thinking like, well, so that would this is like the decision point. It's like either both types of layers has to know about all the possible attributes, or I actually make them separate, in which case it just means I'm going to have to be more clever about sending the messages. I wouldn't just send them to all selected layers. I would send them to uh, only the layers that know how to understand those specific things. And the concept of like knows how to understand a specific attribute, that's not something that I plan to completely abstract away. Like, I guess I could do it in a completely general way where it's like, oh yeah, it stores, instead of having attributes on a class, it stores like a dictionary of attributes. And, actually, that's not the worst idea. We would store a dictionary of attributes, and to know which attributes a layer understands, you could look at the keys of the dictionary. That's not the worst idea. Hmm. Well, uh, I mean that wouldn't really affect the decision of whether to split the layers, because ultimately inside the layers I'm still going to have separate logic depending on the contents of the dictionary, and it's not going to be like it could just look at the dictionary to decide what to do. It would have to know what type it was. Because if it's a fill type, it does the fill. If it's a line type, it does the stroke. Okay. So the dictionary idea might be a nice way to compact the code at some point, but I'm not going to do that right now. Yeah, it's not actually related to the thing. So I think what I have to do to actually make this work is to have an array of these things. Yeah, have an array per type. Yeah, I think that's the solution. It's actually a little bit fuzzy in my head right now, which means it's like a little bit complicated, but I think it will become more clear once I actually get into it. Because I decided it this morning, and yeah, okay. So I'm gonna need an ID on my layers so that in the arrays, where the type specific arrays, I can search by ID, and it's going to be a linear search. I could do some other kind of search. I could use like a set, I suppose, or like a dictionary. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to have a nice simple array. Yeah, complications. Okay. Fill layer. It knows how to get an ID. I need to add that to the line layer. Cool. Okay. Mm-hmm. Line layer type. Yeah, that makes sense. ID name type. Good. Okay. Okay, so what am I trying to do with this update options div thing? It's like, what is it? What is it like? This needs to happen when I change my selected layers, because it needs to go and look at all the selected layers and figure out what UI to construct. Hmm. Hmm. And since the attributes are not dictionaries in those layers, I can't really do like string based stuff. Uh, let's keep it named variables for now. Update selection. I should change this to update selected. Right. So this is wrong currently. Hmm. Right, okay. So I would need like function update selected fills. And then one would be function update selected. Lines. We would use update selected fills if there's a fill specific variable or attribute. And then for now, most of them are actually just like this. Oops, okay. Okay. Right, okay. And then there's a line update and there's a fill update. Ah, yes. Yes, it's all beginning to make sense. That's not how you define that. Okay. And a fill update has almost all these except for line width. And line has all of these things. Okay, and we delete layer update. Yeah, and I remember, okay, I just had a thought. The reason why I'm using these update objects rather than just individual variables, uh, or like, if you have to update one thing, just update the one thing. The problem with that would be there's with the control points, with how their positions are defined, changing changing one thing, they could all be like interrelated. So sort of any change would would cause the control points to be updated. And okay, so the possibilities there are I could define a setter for each of these variables that can be changed. Yeah, I could do that. And just have each of those setters call this thing that updates the control points. Or you could do what I'm doing. Which is equivalent, but it front loads more variable checks. It front loads this default if undefined thing. Uh, I can't decide which one is better. I like this one for now. Like either one could work, I think. Okay, so boop, 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 boop. Okay, and then the other thing we need to make work is line width slider needs to not update selected layers. It needs to update selected lines. It needs to update selected lines, and it needs to have a line update. Yes. And so what it does is it gets if layers selected, it still has to search through all the layers. Why does it have to search through all the layers? It could instead search through all the lines, right? Why wouldn't it just search through all the lines? Yeah, the ID thing, I remember why I need the IDs. I need the IDs to be able to delete layers, I'm pretty sure. Which is an issue that is far away. We're not dealing with that right now. So we just need we need line layers. Line layers and fill layers, line layer, fill. Problem? Yeah, yeah. This is broken. This is broken. Why? I expected 8 arguments but got 9. Which means I don't need that anymore. I'm pretty sure that's the quote-unquote fix I did. Yeah, this is working. Okay. And now I'm just iterating through line layers. Ow. That hurt. I kicked my chair. Okay, and I'm probably not going to call this for a long time. But that is how it would be. Need to import it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now line width slider doesn't even send an update to the fill layer. Oh, well, hold on. Update selected lines. Yes. Sorry, I guess I ate breakfast and now I'm suddenly tired. Oh well. Alright, stream notification did get sent out, so that's great. And only one this time, which is also great to see. Sometimes it sends multiple, which is annoying. Okay. So now I'm thinking, what comes next? We fixed that cute little problem, but there's the bigger problem. of updating the UI based on the selection. We're going to call this function, and we're going to pass in these initial ratios, and we're going to create these. Yeah, I think my plan was to take the options div and say dot inner HTML is equal to empty string at the start. Options div, options div. Okay, an options div, we did get element by ID. Very good. And then is it just this stuff? Is this it? We might literally just put this in here. We're not referencing initial whatever anymore, right? Okay, that's good. What is referencing this? Fill layer? Okay. Nothing's referencing this, and that's because I hard-coded it to 1. Okay. So how do we signal the fact that, like, if you just select a line layer, you're not going to have or a fill layer, you're not going to have a line width? So how do we decide that? How do we signal that? Okay, now I'm remembering an idea I had before. It's basically we iterate over all the selected layers. Yeah, and we accumulate an array of all the values for all the attributes of interest. And what? We don't actually need an array per se. What we need is just to detect a few different states. If there's only one of the thing, then there's no warning necessary, and we just take that value. If there's more than one of the thing, then what do we do with the value? What should the value of the slider be? It's sort of arbitrary what the value of the slider should be, but I suppose there should be some consistent rule to determine what it would be. Would it be the last selected value? Like the huh. I could just pick the value from the top layer, I suppose. Okay. So how would it work? Let's iterate over all the layers. And the layers is not even defined yet. Well, let's make this a function. There we go. We do not have a layer update to offer. I need to first check if it's selected. What if you have nothing selected? uh, that's an interesting thought. Okay. That's possible, right? Okay. So if I come here and I just define all these things. Nope. Semicolon. Although warning would probably default to false, right? That seems safe. Undefined is going to be a special flag, right? We'll use undefined as the flag. Okay. Yeah, this makes some sense. So we're gonna go through all of the attributes that a fill could have. Okay, this will be a little bit tedious. And it's especially tedious because we're doing the same thing for each variable, and we're going to do it twice. Oy vey. Okay. If thickness well, first we could say let layer. We're not going to do it in here anymore, are we? No. We're going to say let layer fill layer equal layers I. You're mad at me. I don't know why. We will cast it. That's not how you cast it. And here we would do line layer. And we can say if layer dot first thing is thickness ratio. Okay. We know thickness ratio is defined because you define it when you construct it. So do I actually care about the value of that? No. No, I don't actually. I care about the value of our thickness ratio that we're keeping track of. So if this is undefined, then that's easy. We just assign it here. If it's not undefined, then we don't assign it at all, and instead we say thickness ratio warning is equal to true. Yeah, it's that simple. Because whatever value we would have assigned to it, since these layers are in order, well, they're in draw order. They're in draw order, which means I actually want to iterate over the backwards. Update order doesn't matter. Here we go. I do this one. Okay, we iterate over them backwards so that whatever the first value that gets assigned would be belonging to the topmost layer. Because that seems like the most intuitive thing. I mean, as long as there's a rule to it, that's fine. But it seems like you would prefer the topmost layer. I don't know. Oh, I hit F5 accidentally. But doesn't that mean that if you switch the order of the layers, you would also need to update the value? Oh boy. Right, and that tells me that I should actually just use a default value or something, right? So that I don't have to worry about that weird edge case. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, we repeat the same process uh, 2 more times. Boop, boop, boop. Line width ratio. Oh, dude, I totally messed that up. I was editing the wrong one. And Phil doesn't have a line width ratio. Ha! Good try. Good try. Okay, very good. And then we do it 4 times over here. And see, this is why if we use the dictionary, then in theory we could kind of do the same thing for all 4. But it's fine. That would just be a more compact way to represent it. It wouldn't actually change what it does functionally. Okay, you do have a line width. You do have a line width. Very good. Okay, so that will set appropriate values for all these variables. Um, in which case, in which case, don't I just make the this a part of that function? Do I not just do that? I'm gonna comment this out. Okay. Somebody makes a change to their selected layers. I come over here. Oh dear. This variable is unused. It's lying to me? Is that because it's not guaranteed to be used? Or its value is never read? Yeah, that's fair. Okay, and these don't use initial anymore. They use the regular. That's correct. Okay. And I need to add the UI, like the HTML, to do the warning thing. But yeah, I think this is right. This is just what the function you call. Okay. And when? Update layers display, I think, is when you do this. Okay, so we get the layers display, and then don't I already have? Huh. Well, anyways. Let's see. On selection change. Yeah, we basically add this here. And this div is going to be the same always. Heading options layers display. Yeah. My inconsistent naming. Oops. Yeah, very good. This is totally working. This is making sense. How about we bring these variables up here? Because everything's getting buried in function declarations now, which I don't like. I like them to be separated if at all possible. Ah, yes, you are also getting buried. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, yes, very good. Yeah, because like here's what index does. Update layers display, update heading text. Is that right? Update layers display. And update layers display does not actually call on selection changed. So I should do this. Actually, realistically, I should call them in order. So like heading, options, layers display. I don't think the order actually matters. Because it's all UI stuff, right? It's all UI stuff. It doesn't actually change the state of things, right? I've separated the model and the view. Yeah, and all these are functions, right? Right. I should bring this up there. Yeah, I should bring that up there. Okay, good. Uh, in theory, this works. Nothing should really have changed. Or at least not much. In terms of features. Okay. The only real change is if I deselect line, that's not correct. That is correct. Why is this only thickness? So I must have done a bug. Oh, well, wait a second. I might have forgotten something here. Um, why is it doing that? That's actually not what it should be doing. Why does only thickness slider show up? That's very odd. Let me do a debug real quick. Is it related to the values getting set? If it were, that'd actually be really cool. I don't suspect it is, though. Okay, so I believe those are all the initial values. Interesting. Boop, undefined, boop, boop. Okay, so it's because it reaches an error that this happens. It gets to an error and it doesn't finish executing the function. Cannot read properties of undefined reading to string. Yes. Okay, that's exactly what should be happening. Okay. So the only thing I really need that check for is line width, because everything else exists on both for now. Well, there you go. Simple as that. I've got double spacing here for no good reason. Okay. All right, so now, very good. Okay, and now let's mess with some stuff, right? So let's make you smaller. This isn't working. Why isn't this working? This works, but this does not. Okay. Man, I broke some stuff. Thickness slider says update selected lines. No. That's simple enough. It's a simple typo. It's not a complicated bug. We like simple bugs. Okay, make you smaller and reduce your thickness. Okay, very good. We're happy with this. This is what we wanted to see. Very good. And then, if we select both of these, it doesn't change them, it just displays them weirdly. Right? Yeah. Okay. Now I need some kind of warning symbol. And if I change line width, yeah, see, it only affects that. Okay. Okay. Next, what I might do is go find some kind of image to use. Because for some reason I imagined using some kind of like triangle warning symbol. I'm gonna go to Font Awesome and steal one of their icons. Oh. Okay, the I one I used is a free icon. That's good. If it wasn't, that would have been a problem. Okay, so I'm looking for like warning. The triangle exclamation. Yeah, there we go. Can I copy the glyph? No, I didn't think so. Why is that option there to copy the glyph? I have no idea. Well, okay, download the SVG. Okay, and in case you're curious, I could show it to you, I think. Yeah, there it is. There's the SVG in all its glory. Um, I might like to invert it. Like, make it white here and black in here. Just because it's already dark, you know? I had to do the same thing with the eye icon. Oh, hey, this works, by the way. How cool is that? It's two separate images that it switches between. Is there a smarter way to do that? I don't think so. Whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I need to do some image editing. Yes, give me a moment. Oh, I also need to do SVG to PNG. Yeah, I have to use a website now to do the conversion for me because my photo editor doesn't do it. Okay, it's done. And now we have a PNG. And now I open said PNG with paint.net. And it's a massive image. Jeez, it's so huge. Is it square? Is it square? Yes, it's 1600 by 1600, which is massive. We're going to resize it to 400. Yeah, 400 by 400. Because it has to go in my assets folder for one thing. Okay, and then we're going to say file question. Is it aliased? Yes, there is. Or there's anti-aliasing on the edges. Which, yeah, I think I have to do only the white. Okay. So we're going to save this as smaller. Then we're going to adjust it to make it brighter, more contrast. Very good. And then we move that image into our assets folder. How do we do that? I think I can drag and drop. Yeah, there we go. This will be the warning symbol, except it won't be this big. It will not be this big. Ah, you can control click to zoom out. Cool. Why do I make the user load such large images? You may ask. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't have a good reason. I guess I'm just like too lazy to make it smaller. So, whatever. Okay. Um. Hmm. So I guess I would put it in here, right? Or not there, in here. I could just add a flag that's like, you know, warning on, yes or done. Hmm. How how would I do that? Right? Like how do I delete an image? I could do it quite a bit easier with CSS, I suppose, right? But how would I delete the image after I've added it to there? Right? Like if we've got a little image element in a span or whatever it would be in, it'd probably be in this div, right? So I would create. What is the name of this thing? Triangle exclamation solid small light. Uh-huh. No, wait. Okay, no, it's still in the label div, though. I mean, it doesn't have to be, clearly, but that's just my plan so far. Well, wait a second. No, I actually. What do I want it to be a part of? I would rather actually have it right here next to, like, next to this. But the problem is that these guys don't have any spare width. Because that's just how I designed them. Okay, let's just try adding them as a separate thing, right? Yeah, and we'll come over here and we'll style it. Slider label, slider range. I will call it slider warning. Width, I don't know, 4%? Some really small number. Okay. Yeah, so we'll put warnings on everything and we'll see what it looks like. Wow, what an absolute disaster. Holy crap. uh, okay, I think I know how to fix that. I just forgot that I need to image IMG with 100%. And that should just work. Right? Yeah, that just works. That looks really nice, actually. That looks really nice, although it's still maybe a little bit too big. Maybe a little bit too big. Let's try 3.5%. Yeah, that seems good. That seems good. Is it? No, no, it's actually in a good spot. It's actually in a pretty good spot as far as its height. Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay. But, but, don't you know? Don't you know that if I don't have the image in there, okay. So, question. How do I test this? How do I test this? I'm lost. I'm lost. I think it's UI util. Where was I? Is it in here? No, it's not. Yeah, it is. It's right here. Okay. Um, if the image isn't there, I think I still need the span there. because otherwise it will not stay aligned properly. Yeah, so nope. Yeah. Okay. This is like, I think there's a problem with this, but it's close to being correct. Right, how do I make it go away? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes, very good. That is exactly the desired outcome. Why does this... That's... I guess that's cute that it highlights these. Yeah, so this is exactly what we want, where it's not there. My problem is that if the values are equal, there shouldn't be a warning. Okay, so that's one thing. If it's equal to... Okay, if it's not equal to undefined, so else if this layer is not equal to thickness ratio, if it's not equal to the first one, then we say use initial thickness ratio. So neither of them gets to be used, and we have a warning. That's how it should work. Okay. Yeah, that's how it should work. Because if they're both equal, there's no need to be concerned. You're not overwriting any value in that case. Okay. And I just copy these things because I'm lazy. Except for this, which we can't copy. Okay. Let's see how we like that. Good, all the warnings are gone. I notice it changes the height. I can't help but notice that it changes the height. That is a problem. That is a problem for me. I don't like that. Yeah, you see that? That's not cool. I wish it didn't do that. 20, 26.5. For some reason, it insists on having this like bottom spacing of how many pixels? Six, four, five, six. It wants 6 pixels on the bottom for some reason. And I couldn't tell you why. Um, if I set the span's height to 100%, does that fix it? Can't tell just by looking at it. No. No, that doesn't change it. Why does it have a height of 32.5? Well, maybe that's because that's the height of this. Okay, that's the height of this. But why did the height of this decide to change? This is shorter, 29.49. Yeah, look, this is higher. This has more height than this thing does. I don't... Like, where is this extra space coming from? I don't understand. Image, overflow clip margin, content box, overflow clip. Hmm. Could that be the cause? Do I set you to 95%? Okay. That fixes that particular problem. I still don't understand why. It's very odd. CSS is weird, man. Let me make this smaller though. I'm lost. Okay, 3.5. Let's try. Let me do it in this editor. Okay, 3.4, 3.3, 3.2. This is working. 3.1, 3.0. 3.0 is the magic number. And that will be the number we shall use. Well, 3.1 was actually the magic number, to be precise, but... See, now we can have the little warning there, and we don't have weirdness about it, yeah, changing the height of things. This is perfect. This is what we need. That's what we needed. Okay, what next? We want for changing the thickness, changing any of the things that has a warning on it, to go and remove said warning. Okay. Because, oh, hold on. Because I can actually demonstrate this. If I do this, it's gone. Okay. Yeah. So if I go find the... Okay, I think I know how to do that. It's just a little bit awkward. So we update the selected layers, and then what do? We would say this guy. Yeah, we're doing this here, which is actually not desirable. What I would really prefer to be doing is returning the parent. I think it's actually good practice just to return the parent always. Yeah, and now I've broken everything. Here's what we do. I did this once before. We do thickness slider div dot query selector. Is that correct? Returns the first element that is a descendant of the node that matches these selectors. Yes. And we do input bracket type equals range. I think. I think I've done this before. I know I've done this before. Aha. That's a problem. Single quotes. Oh, curious. Okay. I didn't know that detail, but that's fine. So I'm pretty sure I don't need quotes on that. Because it worked with the checkbox without quotes. Okay, so here's my query selector. Thickness slider. And did I spell this incorrectly? I can't see the difference between these two things. Ah, it was called Silder before. What? Oh dear. Okay. Interesting. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say, hey, do you have an image element? This is not quite right. Do you have an element with the class? What is the name of the class? Slider warning span. Do you have an element with that class? Because there should only be one. What do you return? Oh no. What do you return if you can't find anything, dude? What do you return? Well, wait, it'll always find it. Oh, it's mad. It's very mad. Oh yeah, yeah, okay. I should go ahead and fix these things. Yes, I will fix all these things. I will copy this. Line with slider div is equal to this. And I need to cast this. I casted it up here, right? I didn't cast it here. Oh? Oh, look at that. You don't need to cast it. That's crazy. How the frick does it do that? That's complicated. Okay, anyways. Boop, boop. That is all good, and now I don't need this parent element nonsense. Because I append the div. Append the div. Okay. Oh, OBS disconnected for a second. I guess it's back immediately. Very cool. Very cool OBS. Love it when you do that. Okay, and we put the div here. Okay. And we're querying for span dot, and this will tell me that it is a span? No, it is not. If I do this, it'll tell me it's a span, right? It will. What if I just did this? Interesting. Huh. Well, let's see if this is the right selector to use. I think it'll compile now. Yes. Okay. Boop, boop. Yes. Yes, it does give me that. And now it has an image element, which is correct.